I saw a post that Astro Cyborg, big time supporter of the channel, longtime OG member, put on Twitter. And it clipped a post from another YouTuber who talks about the gaming industry. I thought this one was very interesting because, again, it seems like something is up right here. Now, before I actually jump into this video, I want to put a caveat. I'm not defending, expansions and DLCs and all this stuff in live service games. We know that these are their moneymakers. However, I think the anti-Xbox slant is quite apparent in this particular instance. So Astro Cyborg, here you go again, baiting me into, having to deal with this because, again, this is what you always do. He posted a little snapshot of Reforge Gaming's ABK deal tax in big quotes, and then pretty much posted Charlie Intel, who is a big Call of Duty Twitter user, and said base game $70, $30 black sale per season, $20 to $30 in-game bundles, $10 base battle pass per season, and new $10 event pass. I gotta say, it is a slimy variation of what Activision has always been doing every single year. However, here's where I see a discrepancy, is that the so-called Reforge Gaming would actually post this and say it's a tax when Reforge used to be a Destiny player. Now, many of you know Destiny as this game that, went through all of this stuff. But deep down inside, when you look at Destiny, it's basically an expansion fest. I mean, look at all of Destiny 2's, collections. Now, yes, fight me and tell me how, oh, well, these are full expansions and blah, blah, blah and whatnot. But again, this is exactly the core challenge with a lot of these kinds of games, because when you come in and say you want to buy something like the annual pass, or something that, say in the last one, $50, the final shape, you realize that they're selling their, expansions for $50 and $100 and finding other ways to monetize in their game. So when somebody shows up who has played a live service game and starts to critique, or who played extensively a live service game and starts to critique a live service game and put, a publisher's name right by it, you can see the apparent bias that we have here. Now, this is what we call Xbox tax, because again, you will allow for other games to do it. You will not talk about them. Not that I know that you have. Maybe he has criticized Destiny's, practices in this regard. Maybe he has come out against them, right? But again, to consider it a tax is kind of weird when you have supported systems along the lines of this. And I think this is the problem and the challenge that we have in today's gaming conversation. Everybody is more interested in painting the other in a bad light. Even when you follow the data and show the evidence, some people are already geared into this thinking that they think you're painting something in a bad light because you're only providing the reality. Like when I make my video saying PlayStation is a third-party publisher, which is a fact. When I say PlayStation is depending on the PC platform, which is a fact. When I say things like PlayStation is making changes to its business, when we have even the CEOs, even at the time when they were not even CEOs, when they were worldwide studio heads, Herman Host, talking about how PlayStation will not be bringing every game, look at it, to PC and changing it. People come out and say that you're being antagonistic against PlayStation when all I'm doing is pointing out the facts, because they're used to this warring or whoring going on where people are just running around and throwing and slinging dirt all over the place without actually providing better context as to what's going on. Now, is the monetization excessive in Call of Duty? Yes, it is. Is the monetization excessive in these live service games? Of course they are. But at the same time, I think we need to maintain similar energy levels as we're going around. Because again, remember, Destiny now belongs to someone else who is a very, very strong competitor against Xbox, right? And that will be PlayStation. And so again, it's kind of interesting to see it this way, right? And Activision was just recently acquired by Xbox. So again, these are practices that have been kept and are going to be ported over. And I don't think Destiny's practices are going to change really much. I mean, think about even the way they're executing on their live service reality in terms of PlayStation. They're giving you a single player, I say single player, they're giving you a fee up front to pay for, like in the case of Concord and Helldivers 2, you paid a fee up front, and then over time you're going to be paying for expansions, and you're going to be, in a position where you have access to microtransactions. Helldivers 2 has the same thing, a similar aspect to it at the end of the day. If we were to go to the Helldivers PlayStation page, I'm not going to be surprised if we see something along the lines of extra spending, aspects to it that will pretty much demand for players to come in and put some more money in. Again, this is so weird that when you talk about this stuff and when you don't point this stuff in a good context, it can make everybody look really, really weird. So I think energy levels are what's missing in the gaming conversation overall. I mean, if anybody wants to maintain an an objectivity stance or look like they're objective, then you need to basically go back and understand that, okay, in order for us to be able to do something like this, we need to make sure that we're pointing out the broader context in terms of these games. And, again, like I said, I've taken a different stance from where I was with live service games. I played just a few back then, and I used to be a heavy critic, but I realized that these live service games funded the single player games. And if these studios are making money and if people decide they want to do whatever they want to do with their money, I'm not going to sit here and tell them what to do with their money. To be very honest, I mean, I'd advise them to be prudent with it. But again, it's their money, so they can do whatever the heck they want with it. But its outcome is that it makes and allows for single player games that I like, that I partake in, to actually be developed, to actually, fostered and published in the grand scheme of things. But I digress. Talk to me in the comment section. The energy levels, this is 2025. Are we doing a good job maintaining them, or are we slacking? Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.